या अली मदद, या अली मदद। तमाम साथियों को या अली मदद। Thank you for joining us this morning. Inshallah, it's going to be a nice, beautiful, sunny Sunday. May Mola have His sun, His nur, His shining on us, on our soul and our intellect. Ya Mola Mehraban, Ya Mola Mehraban. Help us with your tawfiq, your taheed, the himmat and the yari. Ya Mola Mehraban, we need your help in this ilmi journey. We need your blessing. We need you to be standing by us so we could do little bit of the ilmi work. Mullah, all these friends, they are your true mu'min who wakes up early Sunday morning and in some countries staying up late to listen to your knowledge, Mullah. They truly wanted to learn about you, about the Jamat Khana, about the rites and ritual. They are here. They want to know more and more so they can practice better and better. Ya Mullah, please have your Nur-e-Nazar on us. Nur Maulana Shah Karim al-Husaini, Hazir Imam, have a tawfiq, taid, himmat wa yari Maula. Once again, yari madad to all the friends online. Today we will continue where we had left off last week. We were talking about Niyaz and Chanta and we did not finish, and we were at the Chandrat Farman. We have received some question and we will take those questions first, and inshallah today we will have enough time so we can do a little bit more questions than we did last week. Please continue to pray for this Garib and Nachis so we can do a good ilmi session as you expect us to do every week. But I do need your prayers. I do need your prayers. So as we were talking about the Chandrat and Chandra Farman, if we come to the page number 7, where we had finished the Farman, and we were about to talk about the Niyaz, which was the two things on page number 6, Niyaz and Chanta. And we will talk about those two things, Niyaz and Chanta both. But this was some of the questions which came at the end of the session, and we were not able to cover them in our last session. So we'd like to go ahead and take these two questions that is sitting in front of us at the end of page number 7. And one question was about the direction, the way we sit in Jamaat Khana. That is a perfect, a valid question, because in the Shariat there is a lot of emphasis put on where do we sit and how do we face? Where do we face? But we don't see that in our Jamat Khana. And that is a very good observation and a very good question. First of all, throughout these sessions, we emphasized on which part? That our tariqa is the tariqa of batin. We are at the level of haqiqat, which is not shariat nor tariqat but haqiqat. And I will give some example for us to understand. Shariat is an example of children, and children needs to be disciplined. They need to do things on a regular schedule, in a regular manner. For example, for toddlers, they need to drink milk every 4 hours so they can grow. They need to take a shower on regular schedule, and they are told exactly when to sleep, how long they're going to sleep, who they're going to talk to, which friends they will not be hanging around with. Because children needs correct upbringing with a good discipline. And that is the example of the Shariat. At this level of Shariat, and when we were at the Shariat, we were at the same level. We were told exactly what to do and when to do it and how to do it. But then we went to school. We call that tariqat. In tariqat, they told us what we were doing at the level of Shariat and what is the background of that. Just when children start to go to school, they are in high school now, they exactly know why parents send them to school in first place. So they can learn, they can grow, they can mature intellectually. And they learn everything about the life, or most of the part about the life that they need to live safely and healthy. And now parents do not have to tell them or feed them every 4 hours. The food changes. They no longer have to drink milk every 4 hours, but they can eat whatever they like. They no longer have to sleep at 8 o'clock at night and have to have a 9-10 hours of sleep as they did when they were children. Because now they know better how much sleep they need and what is necessary for their health. And they learn that from the parents initially and then at the school. Now they come into the universities. And that is an example of haqiqat. Today we are at the level of haqiqat. At the university level, now imagine your son, your daughter, your brother, your sister, who is at the campus, at the university level, living in a dormitory or in an apartment close to the university. Can parents call that child and say, "Beta, khawano time thei gyo jo khawano khai le"? How funny that would sound. Or parents call and say, "Beta, navano time thei gyo jo nai le." No, they know exactly what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. They schedule their own time and they do things in their own way. we still look after them. And that is our rites and rituals, which is looking after our discipline and looking after our soul and its enhancement and progress. But overall, we are free to do what we need to do. So 2 more examples, and then we will look at some of the references that you see on your screen. 2 more things. One, when Imam says that if you cannot come to Jamat Khana for whatever reason, has to be a valid reason, then have a tasbih in your hand. Remember Mola, remember Imam. Now you can say your dua if you are traveling, if you are in school, if you are at work, if you are driving, if you are not in Jamat Khana, you can say your dua anytime you want. And just to have a tasbih or have a remembrance in your heart, just like that child, now he can eat whenever he is hungry. He can take a shower whenever he has a time. He can sleep as much or as less as he wants, depending on his schedule. That is hakikat. In hakikat, you're supposed to remember Allah all the time, or whenever you can and whenever it's possible. And Imam even has given us a small window, like if you have a 5 second, take the tasbih, remember Allah, remember Mawla Ali, remember the Imams. Now, if you are traveling, if you are at the school, where would you face? You cannot be looking for Kaaba to face, to offer your prayer. Why? There comes 2 references from the Quran itself. The first reference is from Surah Baqarah, ayat number 115. And Allah is the east and the west. Therefore, whichever way you turn, there is Allah's purpose. Surely Allah is ample in giving and knowing. So ऐसा नहीं है, it's not like that कि Allah सिर्फ ईस्ट की तरफ है या वेस्ट की तरफ, या अल्लाह सिर्फ जमात खाने में है या खाना काबा में है. Allah is everywhere. If Allah is everywhere, and we learn that at the level of hakikat, if we still worry about the direction, then it shows that we are at the level of Shariat. We still need to be told when to drink our milk. No, we are grown up at the level of hakikat, and that is one of the reasons that we sit with the respect and discipline, but no longer need to worry about, because we believe Imam is everywhere. Whichever way you turn your face, you will find Imam. The second reference from the same surah, surah number 2, Surah Baqarah, ayat number 125. And remember, when we made the sacred house a center and sanctuary for the people, saying, you may take this standing place of Ibrahim as a site of prayers. So now, Allah saying, wherever Ibrahim stands, that's where you're going to stand. Wherever Ibrahim stands, that's where you will stand. Meaning, today, in our time, wherever Imam is, that is the place for you to stand. Because we are standing with the Imam-e-Zaman. And now, doesn't matter which way you turn, you will find the Imam, because he is with you. Imam is your Qibla, Imam is your Kaaba, Imam is your direction, and Imam is where we should be facing. So wherever Imam is, and Imam is everywhere, so this direction, it was important at the level of Shariat, as it was for the child to drink the milk every 4 hours and ever sleep as much as they needed to grow. But at the level of Hakikat, this one part of the Shariat is no longer required. No longer required. If accidentally or otherwise we try to make our Jamat Khana in such a way that it is facing toward the correct side, but we can sit on a wall, we can sit on a chair, Mukhi Sahib sits the other way, the man sits on the left and the woman's on the right, and they are facing each other. It doesn't matter anymore, because we are at such a level where we believe, this is our Iman, that we are facing toward the Imam. So remember that part. And this was a great question. It gave us a chance to have a great discussion. Thank you so much. The other question is about the niyaz. And we have not started the niyaz. But since question is here, I'll go ahead and answer this question. And we will go more into detail in a second with our chanta and niyaz session. About the offering of the niyaz to deceased. When somebody passes away, Mukhi Sahib offers chanta and Mukhi Sahib offers niyaz. And I believe this question, I understand where this question is coming from. That because the niyaz is Abe Shafa, and Abe Shafa is for us. But remember, niyaz has so much different significance. There are different things that niyaz that we take. There are different purposes to purify our heart, our mind. And niyaz also represents, the water represents the knowledge of the Imam and the Prophet. And there are so many different symbols in our niyaz. But let's just take the part Abe Shifa. So chata is given for the forgiveness of the soul of the deceased. Remember, the soul has already departed. But as a last rites and ritual, we offer the niyaz, the Abe Shafa, and the chanta as the last well-wish, last prayers, last dua for the relatives, for the friend, for the Jamat, for the deceased. Once Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah said, one who is believer, he always drink Abe Shafa. Means the drinks of a cup of Noor forever. This is a line I wanted to share with all of you, and especially the person who's asking the question. That Imam's word, one who is believer, number one condition. Remember, Imam put a condition here. जो ईमान वाला है उसकी बात हो रही है. One who is believer, he always drinks Abe Shafa. Means he drinks of a cup of Noor forever. So, what is another symbol of the Abe Shafa? The Noor. So Mukhi Sahib, with his recommendation, with his sifarish for the deceased, by giving and by offering the niyaz, he is praying for the deceased that you may be one with Imam's Noor, and that is the symbol of the niyaz at the time of deceased last rites and rituals. Thank you. This was a great question. Third question we're going to cover, and I'm going to say this question: did Chandra Majlis started with a men only? Honestly, truly, I do not know answer to this question. If we have any historians, maybe they can tell us. But I would always say that Imam Zaman is the Amr. Imam has the total authority. Even if it had started with a man only, but today is the correct way, because correct Imam, the Imam Barhaq, the Hazir Imam, the present Jamat, and including Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to him, has approved the Chandra Majlis as a part of our Shariat, part of our part of our rites and ritual, and the one of the three Shariat of our Tariqah, including the Son, Dua, and Chandra Majlis, and it's for all of the Jamat, men and women. And historian maybe can tell us if it was ever a time, or did it start with a man only. Honestly, I do not know the answer to this question. Is more for the historians to tell us if that was the case. So let's come back to page number 6 again, where we were talking about the niyaz and chanta, and we had talked about why we have niyaz on Friday, and then why we have niyaz every morning. So let's talk about the niyaz on Chandrat. If anyone has any question or have forgotten what we had talked about, why we have niyaz on Friday, so just to recap, just in one line, the Friday niyaz signifies the ilm and talimat of Jumatul Mubarak, the day of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him. The morning niyaz, the Nur Vela, the time of the Nur, signifies the Nurani ilm of the Imam Zaman, and because Imam is present every day, all the time, so we have niyaz every morning that signifies the ilm and the talimat of the Imam Zaman and the nur of the Imam, and that is the morning niyaz and the Friday niyaz for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now let's come to Chandrat, and we will talk about some other days when niyaz are offered. Chandrat Majlis. When did Chandrat Majlis started? Which Imam started the Chandrat Majlis? Most of us know the Chandrat Majlis was started with the Farman of Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to their Imam. With this Imam and declaring, there was some declaration made at the time of our 48th Jama. Number 1, our tariqah is haqiqat. We went from Shariat to tariqat, and then tariqat to haqiqat. That was first declaration of Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to their Imam. Second, this is the time of Qiyamah. So keep these two declarations in mind. And with that, he started the Chandra Majlis and made this Majlis for us a compulsory part of our tariqah. All the other majalis, including Baitul Khayal, is not a faraz, but it's the choice of a mu'min. All other majalis are not faraz, not compulsory, but a choice of a mu'min. If they wanted to give more, then they can enroll themselves in other majalis. But when it comes to Chandra's Majlis, Imam said, all of you enroll in this Majlis and come to Jamat Khana on the Chandras, so your soul may not leave this world sinful. And we all remember the Farman from the last week, which is right in front of your screen. The Chandras Majlis is the compulsory and parts of our Shariat and our Faraz. Compulsory. Because this is a time of Haqiqat and because this is a time of Qiyamah, one more niyaz is offered on Chandrat. If the first one was the symbolized, first niyaz, the Juma or the Friday niyaz was symbol of the Talimat of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the morning niyaz symbolized the Talimat, the nur of the Imam of the time, then it made it easier for us to understand. The Chandrat niyaz symbolize and signifies the knowledge, the Talimat of the time of Qiyamah. So when we go to Chandrat and we understand the meaning, the batin behind it, then by taking this niyaz, we are doing what? We are saying, Ya Mola, I am ready, I accept, I want to know more about this Farman where you have said that this is the time of Qiyamah, ye dore aakhir hai. If anyone needs the Farman reference, it's 17 August 1885. This is the last time, the dore aakhir, and I'm paraphrasing, so please look it up. This niyaz symbolize the Talimat, the ilm of the time of Qiyamah. Remember, niyaz, the water symbolize the ilm. Which ilm are we talking about? And I know I have repeated this again and again, but I feel to repeat this as many times as it's required for me to repeat. And I'm gladly repeating this again. My brother and sister, my dear brother and sister, this is not the ilm information, but this is the ilm of the Imam of the time, the true knowledge of the Imam. Because we are trying to understand the batin and the purpose behind the practices that we offer and follow every day of our life. If we understand this ilm of the Imam, then it will bring us a lot of peace. We will understand our rites and ritual better. We will think of the batin behind each and every action we perform in Jamat Khana. We will no longer perform anything in blind, because our mazhab, our tariqah is not a blind faith, but a faith of intellect. Our tariqah sits on intellect. And what does our intellect tells us? What does Imam tells us? That learn, 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 learn. That's how much Imam emphasized on learning. And today we are following his farman, and we are learning the batin of our tariqah, the purpose behind the practices. And we are giving a fresh look. We are going into detail of our tariqah. So, niyaz on the Chandrat signifies, reflects and symbolizes the ilm and tawilat of the Qiyamah. Now it is upon each one of us to do personal search. Read those faramins. Ask questions. Listen to the true ilm. Because if this is the time of Qiyamah, then time is short. We do not have too much time to waste on other informations. But it is a personal search, and one needs to be serious about the tariqah. And if we are, and I believe all of us are, otherwise why would we be giving our precious time? Sunday morning, that's the best time to sleep in. But we are not doing that. We are here and we are learning the batin of our tariqah. Acha. So I believe there one more thing left in the niyaz, and that was part of one of the question from the last week. The symbols of kum, the big kum, the pyala, where we start our niyaz from, and the cup which we dip in to take our niyaz. The pyali, the small pyalis which we take and we drink the niyaz from. There is a great tradition and understanding of what those three things symbolize. And there is a fourth thing, but we will talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about these three things first. The big kum, where we start our niyaz from. Remember, niyaz, the water, symbolize ilm, the true knowledge of the Imam. So kum, where there is a large body of water, symbolize universal intellect, akle kul. And from akle kul, which symbolize the Imam Zaman. Today Imam Zaman is akle kul. So the big kum symbolize Imam himself. And from Imam we take that cup and we take the niyaz. So that cup symbolize Hujjat, the Peer, who gives, who takes the ilm from the Imam and does what? Put it in a pyali. Pyali represents Dai. And what does Dai do? Dai brings the knowledge, the ilm to the Jamat. And we are the Jamaat who taking the ilm from the pyali and we are drinking it. So these are the symbols. Remember, there is no hocus pocus in our tariqah. Every rite and ritual signifies, symbolize something, a greater, deeper, batini understanding. So let me repeat this thing, and remember there is one more fourth thing which I have not mentioned yet. The kum, the large body of water, symbolize Akle-Kul, the Imam-e-Zaman. He has the total knowledge. He has the power of Ab-e-Shafa, the big kum. From the big kum, the Pir, the cup, takes the knowledge from the Imam and gives to Dai, the small pyali. From Dai, Jamat drinks the Ab-e-Shafa. Take the knowledge of the Imam which Pir had forwarded to Dai, the pyali, and from the pyali we drink. Now, the fourth thing which we haven't mentioned. Remember, there's a small niyaz bottle which we keep on the side until the dua, and when dua is recited, we open that small bottle of Ab-e-Shafa and we put that into the kum by saying what? Farman. And Jamaat replies, Ya Ali Ya Muhammad. Farman, Ya Ali Ya Muhammad. Farman, Ya Ali Ya Muhammad. So what does that signify? That it is with the Amr of the Imam, Farman of the Imam, that I establish this niyaz. Because we cannot establish niyaz without the Farman, without the Amr of the Imam. So with that Amr, with that Farman, we put the niyaz into the kum. Before it was just a water. With the Amr of the Imam, it became Ab-e-Shafa. And Jamaat replies that this Amr and this Farman is of Ya Ali, Ya Muhammad. Do we see that? Picturize how perfect our rites and rituals are. Every action symbolizes something. Every action has a greater, deeper, batini understanding. Now, when you go to Jamat Khana, and Jamat Khanas are opening, new Jamat Khanas are opening every day. Inshallah, we all be back into Jamat Khana soon. And when we go to Jamat Khana next time, with this knowledge, with this ilm, with this understanding, when you will look at the niyaz, your view, your mindset has changed. Now you will be more mindful than ever. It's no longer something is happening and you are not part of it. No, now you understand what is exactly happening. When you look at the kum, you will think of the knowledge, the ilm, the talimat of the Imam. When you will look at their cup, you will think of the Pir. When you look at the pyali, you will think of the Dai. And when you drink the niyaz, you will know that you have accepted and you have taken the ilm of the Imam-e-Zaman. And it will give you a peace, a great pleasure in understanding what we are doing. We will no longer perform a practice just because our parents told us. Because everybody is doing it, so I'm going to do it. This is no longer the reason. Because now you understand. You have the insight. of this practice. Let's come to chanta. Chanta also represents the knowledge. Why? The water portion that we use for the chanta. But in our tariqah, chanta is for the forgiveness of the sin. And I can tell already, a lot of people thinking in their mind, which sin? My daily sin, my bigger sin, my smaller sin, my mistakes, my sin of my dasan, my sin of forgiving my dua, missing my ibadat, missing something. Let's just understand all this in one lump sum. When you are going for chanta, before you get there, the line that you're standing for the chanta, please, this line is not so you can stand and you can talk and laugh. This time in the line is for you to do your niyat. This line is there, so before you get there, be mindful of what sin would you like to be forgiven. Ask yourself, do I remember what sins have I committed? What sin have I committed willingly and unwillingly? What sin have I committed knowingly and unknowingly? Once you have that niyat, now regardless of what sin, and I'm answering 100 questions here, because I know after this we will have 100 questions regarding this. I'm answering to all of those questions, all 100 questions. You tell me and you ask yourself, which sin are you asking for forgiveness? Whatever your niyat is, whatever your intent is, you have that in your mind before you get to Mukhi Sahib. Have it in your mind. Imam is forgiving. Imam wants you to be pure. Imam wants your soul to be out of and clean of all of the sin, regardless of the whatever sin you have made, willingly, unwillingly, knowingly, unknowingly. So have your niyat. Utilize this time before you get to Mukhi Sahib. This line is not there to be standing, talking and laughing. This time is to make your talk to your soul, to your understanding. Be mindful. Have your niyat ready, your intention ready before you go to Mukhi Sahib. Then you ask for forgiveness and you will find Imam very, very forgiving. He is Rahman, he is Rahim, he is merciful, and he loves us so much. He loves us so much that regardless of what sin you have done, willingly or unwillingly, he is ready to forgive you if you ask for it, if you have intent and niyat for it. I think this put this talk of Niyaz and Ginan to the end today. And there was one more thing over here about Shukrwari beach. So I will only take 5 minutes, and then if you want more detail, then I'll be happy to have another session just on Chandrat and Shukrwari beach, but in 5 minutes. Because I trust you and I believe you that you have paid attention. What was Jummah? What was Friday? What does Jummah symbolize? The day of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What does Chandra symbolize? Day of Qiyamah. Do we all remember that part? The Friday symbolizes the day of Jumatul Mubarak, the day of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Chandra signifies the day of Qiyamah. And Imam says, when you understand and when you reach to that junction, the fine line, the junction of Friday and the Chandra, the day of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and day of Qiyamah, when they both come together, keep roza. Keep roza. What does roza signify? Strain yourself. It is not about staying hungry for one day. It is not about staying hungry for one day. It is about restraining yourself. Be mindful of those 2 days. And now we are living in a time. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing over here. This is the day of Friday. This is the day of Chandra. And they have a couple together. They have coupled together. They have come together. If you understand that you know about the day of Friday and day of Chandra, and when they couple together, when they come together, keep roza. Keep this secret to yourself. Restrain yourself. Restrain yourself. Keep roza. Keep your mouth closed. Roza literally means restraining oneself. The food is a symbol. Food is just a symbol. It is about closing our mouth and restraining ourselves, and do not tell the secrets of this day when these 2 days come together. Those of you who understand what I'm talking about will understand that there is a huge symbol in these 2 days coming together. The day of Friday and day of Qiyamah. So inshallah, if you all want, we can have an entire session on this, because there is a lot of batin hidden in this Shukrwari beach. So inshallah, let me stop here and let me turn on the speaker, and then if anyone has a question, then they can send it on the chat, and Kamriya Sahib can read those for us. Thank you. Let me turn on the speaker. Ya Ali Madad.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, we have received a few questions in the chat. So I will go through them.
Give me 1 second. Let me turn on the speaker. Ji, go ahead.
Okay, sir. Let me know when you're ready.
Ji, I'm ready.
Okay. So the first question is, what is the reason to change the Qibla from Baitul Muqaddas to Kaaba? If the Kaaba was a house, Adam was the one who built the house of Kaaba. So why it is not from the beginning? Why the Kaaba is not the Qibla from the beginning?
It is from the beginning, because initial Baitullah was built by Adam himself, and then after the flood of Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, it was rebuilt by Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. And then the Kaaba that we look at today, it was just a 4-wall and not as great in the size, in the might that it is in today. So Kaaba was originally built by Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, rebuilt by Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and modified throughout the history. Throughout the history. So Qibla was always there. And remember, the Qibla or the Khana Kaaba is the symbol. उसको उर्दू में बोलते हैं कि वो मिसाल है, ममसूल नहीं है. मिसाल है, ममसूल नहीं है. Meaning, Qibla is a symbol. The batin is the nur of Allah on Zameen. Who is the nur of Allah on Zameen? In their respected time, the prophets were nur of Allah in Zameen. Today, Imam is the nur of Allah in front of us. So, remember the ayat number that I have given you, the Surah Baqarah, ayat number 125. We are supposed to face toward the Imam-e-Zaman. We should stand with the Imam-e-Zaman. Wherever the Imam is, that is where the Qibla is, that is where the Nur is, and we are supposed to face toward the Nur of Ilahi, which is in Imam today, which was in the Ibrahim, and which is the symbol of the Kaaba and the Qibla. Thank you. Good question. Thank you.
So we have another question. What's the significance of 3 du'as whenever we have the niyaz in Jamat Khana? So, dua Stapanji, dua Utapanji, and dua Kayam Karanji.
Ji. Good question again. Thank you for asking. Remember, to establish anything, we do some Kriya, and just like niyaz, just like our daily dua, or just like anything that we normally do, has to have a significance, has to have a symbol, has to start from somewhere, and it has to stop somewhere. So, what is the batin of this 3 dua? Prayer, prayer, and prayer. We start with the prayer. We do the niyat of closing with the prayer, and then we close with more prayer. I would request that look at the batin and understand the batin of anything we do more than the zahir of what we do. What did I just say? Pay more attention to the batin of what we do than zahir of what we do. Because zahir is the symbol. इसको उर्दू में मिसाल बोलते हैं. And the batin is the mamsul. Mamsul, goal, the destination. Batin is the goal and destination. The dua that we perform each time represents what? The batin of it, which is the dua, asking, praying. Ji.
So we have another question. So what's the significance of the 2 majlises every week, a Monday morning and a Friday morning in Beth Hotel?
Ji. Give me 1 second. Okay. Ji. So, the Jumerat Majlis and Somar Rat Majlis, the Monday night and the Thursday night. Just like any other Majlis, Imam has given us the tools. And what are the tools? The different majalis are the tools to remind us, to prepare us. To remind us and prepare us. Remember these two words. Somarat and Jumerat word remind us of the Baitul Khiyal and prepare us for the Ibadat and Baitul Khiyal, and it gives us an indication that have a habit of coming to Jamat Khana little bit earlier. Do not rush to Jamat Khana at 4 o'clock, but have a habit to come little bit early, do some tasbih as we do on Jumerat and Somarat, but do some tasbih on your own. Build a habit of coming to Jamat Khana a little bit early. Do some Griyauzari and tasbiyat before you sit in Ibadat. It is reminding us, it is preparing us for the Ibadat. I'm going to add, don't forget the Satara. Satara is the exactly same thing, reminding us and preparing us for the Baitul Khiyal and the Ibadat. So it is kind of a reminder, and the purpose behind it. Remember, do not look at the Zahir, look at the Batin. The purpose behind is build a habit of tasbiyat before Ibadat. That is the purpose behind it. If you wanted to listen to Satara lecture, this Garib and Nachis just delivered that to the London group last Sunday on Satara. That is a part of this series of Jamaat Khana practice and purposes. The Satara lecture was delivered just last Sunday. Listen to that. I hope it will help you a lot to understand Somarat and Jumerat morning Majlis. Ji. Thank you. It was a good question.
So we have another question. Why do you say may our soul be sacrificed for this Imam after only Sultan Shah's name? What is the significance of saying that compared to saying Salawat after saying Imam Sultan Shah's name?
May my soul be sacrificed to all of the Imams. But when you love an Imam, what do you want to do? You wanted to qurban yourself, sacrifice yourself to that Imam. There is something about Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah that I love so much that I wanted to say, every time I recite his name, I wanted to say, my soul be qurban to that Imam. That is my love for the Imam and my love for all of the Imam. Remember, to some, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah is just a 48th Imam. To me, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah and all of the Imam is one single Noor. So if I say Ali, I'm talking about all Imams. If I say Kareem, I'm talking about all Imams. If I say Sultan, I'm talking about all Imams. So that is my personal love for the Imam, and that's what I do. Thank you for asking.
Yes, we have another question. Why we say Chandrat as Qayamat, as Farman says, day of new moon and happiness?
Like I explained, there was a two thing that Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to that Imam, said that our tariqah is the tariqah of haqiqat, first declaration of haqiqat. And second, we are in the door of Qiyamat, second declaration. And then establishing the Chandrat Majlis. And Chandrat Majlis is the Majlis of the Qiyamat. And as you go into detail of this Farman, and we have shared this Farman with everyone last week, and it is in with Kamadiya Sahib. If you don't have it, receive from him. Now, If you wanted to ask me a question, what does a new moon means in the Farman? That is another question now. Ji.
Okay, so we have 3 or 4 questions from the same person. Is Beach related to the night of power somehow? And another thing is, yeah. So please go ahead, answer this one. I'll look for another one.
You could say that, because remember, our batin has so much batin. There are lessons at the beginning level, there are lessons at the second level, there are lessons at the third level. And as we go forward, as we learn more and more about our tariqah, you will find that there are batin, another batin. Matter of fact, there may be 7 batins of our tariqah. What we are peeling today, we are peeling the first layer of the zahir and we are going into batin, first layer. There are 6 more layers to peel. And the question that you are asking about the night of the power is part of one of the batin of our tariqah. The new moon is also part of the one of our batin of our tariqah. The moon represents Hujjat, the Peer. And Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to the Imam, says, this is the day of the new moon, meaning this is the day of a new kind of Hujjat. And the moon and the Hujjat represents a veil, parda, on the nur of the Imam. So Imam is saying that it is no longer like the previous moon, the previous peers, previous Hujjat. This is the time of the new moon, new kind of Hujjat, new kind of peer, and new kind of veil. That's all I'm going to say today. Because this lesson is for the lesson of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th grade. Inshallah, keep praying for this Garib and Nachis. We will peel these layers one at a time. We will peel, we will dig in, we will go into batin, and the batin of the batin and batin of the batin, inshallah, with your prayers, inshallah. Ji.
Another question from the same person. Why did the Sharia change to include Chandra? Because even though it is time of Qiyamah, it is technically a ritual. Or did Chandra actually start during time of Prophet Muhammad and become compulsory during time of Imam Sultan Muhammad?
Okay, so please give me a permission to correct this question nirbit, just nirbit. It's a great question. I wanted to make a correction. We are not talking about Chandra starting, we are talking about the Majlis starting. Because in your question you said Chandra started with Prophet Muhammad. How about if I tell you that Chandra started with Adam? It is not the Chandra that we are talking about. We are talking about the Chandra Majlis. Chandra Majlis started with Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah. May our soul be sacrificed to their Imam. As the important part of Dore Qiyamat, and it is so important that he wanted to make sure that none of the murid misses the opportunity to have this majlis. So he made it a faraz, compulsory part of our rites and rituals, compulsory part of our tariqah. Because this is not optional like other majalis. He wanted to give you the Jamat. He wanted to bless us as the Jamat. The Jamat of the time of Hakikat and Jamat of the time of Qiyamah. He wanted to bless us. This majlis is a blessing for us, just as our 3 dua and just as our qurbani of the son. This is a blessing, and we should take this majlis as a blessing, not as just something we do once a month. This is not something we do once a month, but it is a blessing if we understand the batin of it. Inshallah, like I said, pray for me. We will peel the batin of the batin of the batin of the batin, one at a time. We will understand what Chandrat is, Chandrat Mallas I'm talking about, why, and what truly means, and why this was established at this time and made it a faraz, compulsory for us, a blessing for the mu'mineen, inshallah. Thank you. This was a good question.
Another question is, say it for a number of times for the 12 cups. Is that to represent the 12 hujjat? And I think this person is referring to the yesterday's lecture. Are we to represent the 12 hujjat?
Okay. The 12 time, may it be 5 time, may it be 7 time, or may it be 12 time. Okay. Normally we see that happening at 12 time. And remember, the pyali, the small pyali, represents dai. In the time of tariqat, there would be 12 hujjat, and each hujjat will have 30 dais, meaning total of 360 dais working with the peers and hujjatan to preach and teach the tariqah, the religion. Now, if this was 5 or 7 or 12, it may represent different numbers, but the learning, the batin is which level and what understanding do we have. If we understand the time of 12 hujjat, then yes, this represents 12 hujjat. If we understand the 7 steps of religion, then this represents the 7 great era of the religion. If we understand 5, then it represents 5 hujjatan, or the 5 ruhani, nurani hujjatan, or the hierarchy of the religion, the aklekul, nafsekul, natik, asas, and imam. It depends on how you see it. It depends on how you see it. Regardless of the number, what we are saying is important, and that is farman, with the amr of the imam. Ya Ali ya Muhammad, the farman of the Ali and the Muhammad. That is the important part. Do not go with the physical, but come to the prayers and the batin of it. So this answers your question. Thank you for asking. This was a good question. So let's do one more question and then we have to stop.
Okay, so last question. Why do we have hours offered twice on Chandra? So I think you're talking about during the regular Jamati ceremony and then the Chandra Majlis.
Okay. I think we should offer 3 times or 4 times or the 5 times. This is what I think we should do. But having said that, Awal Sufro is showing our love to the Imam, and as a part of our rites and ritual, remember this is not part of our faras. Whatever we do outside the part of our compulsory faras, Nandi, Memani and Awal Sufro is not part of our compulsory rites and ritual, are they? They are not. So for the Chandrat, we offer one time. For the Chandrat. For the Chandrat Mallas, we offer the second time. And I'm going to give you one more example. What about if Mola Bapa had come for Didar and that was the Chandrat day? How many times we will offer the Awal Sufro? 3 times. Because of their Kushali, because of the Chandrat, and because of the Chandrat Mallas. Awal Sufro is a blessing, extraordinary blessing that one mu'min does out of the Jamat and says, I wanted to offer my love to the Imam, because Awal Sufro is offering of the love to the Imam. I wanted to offer my love to the Imam on the behalf of Jamat Khana, behalf of the present Jamat, behalf of my brother and sister sitting right now here. So if it is offered once, twice or thrice, more blessing, more love, more offering. So remember, if the batin do not go into the physical action, understand the batin of the action that we do in our Jamaat Khana. We have to keep repeating this part. Batin, batin and batin. If we are stuck in the Shariat and the actions, we will be just stuck there. We need to go into the deeper into batin of it. The more we go into batin, the more pleasure and happiness and understanding and enlightenment that we will feel. Can you imagine one brother or sister in our Jamaat offering the love to the Imam on the behalf of you and me for the entire Jamaat? That is the pleasing part. That is the part of the happiness. That is the part of the love that we offer to the Imam on the behalf of the present Jamaat. Ji. Thank you, Mukhi Sahib, and thank you, everybody. May Mawla be with you. Thank you for your well wish and prayers for this Garib and Nachis. And thank you for attending this session. I hope that you all have received lot of ilme imam, and we have understood lot more today than we ever had before. Inshallah, with your prayers, we will continue this series of sessions so we can understand our rites and ritual better and better and better. May Mawla be with you. May Mawla bless you. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.
Sir, we have so many more questions, so I will save it. This question, I will send it to you.
Thank you, and we will start with those next week, inshallah. Thank you so much, Ya Ali Madad. Kamla Sahib will remind you of the next session that we have at 1 o'clock. Ya Ali Madad.